Viewers, and you're still watching the Breakfast Show, and in this segment of our program we will talk about Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli's visit to Qatar, and where he met with Emir of Qatar Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, and the Prime Minister discussed fields of cooperation between the two countries. Now we are joined over the phone by Mr. Abdel Latif Wahba. He is a journalist and Ministerial Council Affairs. Good morning, Mr. Abdel Latif. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, sir, can you tell us about the significance of Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli's visit to Doha and his meeting with the Emir of Qatar, who affirmed his keenness to increase investments in Egypt?
Yeah, of course, it is important to visit just now for Egyptian Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, who visited Qatar. As you know, that President Abdel al-Sisi visited Qatar and participated in the inaugurations of the World Football Cup in Qatar. Today, as you know, that the Qatari also regime and the businessmen supported the Egyptian investments and also some economic sectors during the past few months. As you know, that they deposited in Central Bank of Egypt. And also injected some foreign assets in economic sectors. So Madbouli, during his visit, he was received by Emir of Qatar, who supported Egypt and also who helped to Egypt to face all the economic issues due to the Russian-Ukrainian crisis. At the same time, as you know, that all the world, not only Egypt, suffered also from the COVID-19 in 2020 and 2021. So it's the visit came as a result of President Abdel al-Sisi efforts to improve and to face all the economic problems in Egypt. And also during the meeting of Prime Ministers Mustafa Madbouli with his counterpart Qatari Prime Ministers, they agreed on cooperations in different sectors and different aspects between Egypt and Qatar. And at the same time, they, I think, as you know, that they are working to strengthen the exchange of trade and also to unify some tax and customs procedures between Egypt and Qatar at the same time. So they signed the agreement in Doha, the capital, to unify all these procedures. As you know, that after signing this, Dr. Mustafa Madbouli inserted that this agreement will play an important part in pushing the Qatari investment and the Qatari-Egyptian economic relations in common areas.
Yes, also the Prime Minister agreed on preparing for a visit by Qatari businessman delegation to the free zones in Egypt and the Suez Canal economic zone, during which
Yes.
they would be briefed on available opportunities there. Tell me more about the importance of this visit.
That is right. Especially after signing this agreement, they agreed on a visit also for the Qatari businessmen and also Qatari members of Chamber of Trade to Suez Canal economic zone. As you know that they want to invest in some different sectors in this zone, especially as the chairman of the Suez Canal economic zone expressed and declared during the meeting in Doha that we have this remarkable zone, and at the same time there are about 200 projects and zones inside it. So the Qatari businessmen, as we heard from them during the summit in Doha, they declared that they wanted to invest in many sectors in Suez Canal economic zone, especially in ports and also in some other industries of pharmaceutical activities, and also to participate with their Egyptian counterparts in many other different sectors.
Yes, also Prime Minister Madbouli stressed Egypt's relentless efforts to encourage local and foreign investments in addition to boosting the role of the private sector. How do you see the government's keenness to enhance the role of the private sector?
Yeah, of course, he declared that Egypt approved the state-owned documents, these documents or preparatory documents, and they have a plan to offer over 32 companies during the coming period or during the current year for either even in stock markets or to let strategic investors to acquire some of it. As you know, that Egypt aimed at the same time to give the chance for the private sectors to participate in all different economic sectors, and at the same time the government pledged that there is no restrictions or obstacles that can be left, but they will take it, and at the same time even according to the agreement that they signed of dual taxation, I think Prime Minister asserted that Egypt is a free market, and also there is no restrictions on transferring the transmissions of revenues, profits, and so on. This is, of course, will attract the foreign these procedures. I mean, or according to the agreement of the side, will attract the foreign direct investments to Egypt, and at the same time, not only from the Arab and the Gulf countries, but from different parts of the world, as they are seeking security and energy and other important elements that is required for their project.
Yes, Mr. Abdel Latif, also Madbouli witnessed the ceremony of signing 3 memoranda of understanding between the Ministry of Health and a number of Qatari companies within the framework of boosting partnership with the private sector in the health care services. So can you tell me more about cooperation in this field, and how can Egypt benefit from Qatar in the healthcare services?
Yeah, of course. Yesterday they signed 3 memorandums of understanding. This is, of course, some companies, Qatari companies, they signed with the Minister of Health. And according to Egyptian Minister of Health, there will be a cooperation between the health sectors and the Qatari companies working in these sectors at the same time. And I remember exactly when Minister of Health said that Egypt achieved over 90% in fabricating the pharmaceuticals, and at the same time the Egyptian market can absorb any foreign direct investment to work in Egypt.
Yes. Mr. Abdel Latif, also the 2 countries agreed on avoiding double taxation and prevent financial evasion between the Egyptian and Qatari ministries of finance in to enhance investment cooperation between the 2 countries and erase any obstacles. So how do you see this agreement?
It is important for the foreign investors, especially the Qatari investors at the same time. As Prime Minister said after signing this agreement, Egypt is a free market. There is no obstacles that prevent the investors from working freely, from transferring their profits or revenues from the Egyptian market to outside. This is, I think, the main important element during the Prime Minister's visit to Qatar, during the Prime Minister's delegations with the Qatari businessmen and the investors, as it will affect the foreign currency and the foreign direct investment from Qatar to Egypt. And let me say that during the past months, as you know, that the Qatari people is trying to establish a new platform for investing in Egypt. Dr. Hala Said, Minister of Planning, yesterday, she said they are working with the Qatari counterparts to establish an Egyptian Qatari investment fund. This is, of course, they are working in it, and they will be established by the Qatari businessmen at the same time, so they can inject more foreign direct investment to the Egyptian market, and at the same time to participate in all chances or economic projects in Egypt.
Yes, so one final question. Prime Minister Madbouli also expressed Egypt's aspiration to work on more coordination with the Qatari side in international and regional forums and organizations to reduce tension in the region. So to what extent Egypt is keen to support the Arab Gulf states against any external dangers or threats, especially with regard to the securing freedom of navigation and protecting energy sources against threats, and emphasizing the Arab national security is an individual whole.
As you know, that this is the main principle President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi declared that away from any problems in the past, he declared since he came to power that the security of the Gulf states, of the Arab areas is a main part of the Egyptian national security. So they are working in cooperation with all Gulf states and Qatar at the same time. This is, of course, to secure power and energy, and also to activate the international navigations through the Red Sea, through Suez Canal. And at the same time, if we can notice that during his prime ministers, Mustafa Madbouli, with the Qatari prime ministers, they are discussing how can Qatar get a benefit and also contribute in green power energy in Egypt, and how they can work together to extend pipelines to provide Europe with energy.
Yes, I'd like to thank you, Mr. Abdel Latif Wahba, journalist. Thank you, sir, for being with us. And dear viewers, a short break, and we'll be back with our second segment for today.